All right, Pat. So tell us about Bad Boy Guns, Socom
Sure.
Alliance. What are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, I had founded Shotgun Blasters some 17, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Or been working on a version of it all the way up till recently, and I sold the company. I'm off on a couple of new endeavors, and like you mentioned, one of them is Bad Boy Guns. And we've just recently formed the company, just got the LLC going, and what we do is custom built ARs, 308s, shotguns. Of course, I started in the business in shotguns. That was the niche market that I went after.
Right.
And the reason I did is because nobody else was doing it. You know, for years and years and years, everybody's been doing modified ARs and sniper rifles and things like that. And that, I'm not like anybody else. And I also saw the value in the shotgun.
Right.
So I went after that market and basically created a market that didn't exist before. And found that with a lot of my creations, people just went crazy. And you're paying really good money for some good quality craftsmanship.
So it's comparable to my little Red Ryder BB gun. Is that right?
Oh, it's exactly the same as that BB gun. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, JJ. And they'll both sting about the same.
I mean, I was watching. So I was watching several of the shows from. Tell us more about the one that you did for Ted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I did a custom shotgun for Ted Nugent. Now, I do a lot of veterans charity organization work, and I've always had this huge place in my heart for the vets. And I didn't serve myself, and I always kind of felt guilty about that. And then when I got Shotgun Blasters and I had my own company, then I had a platform for which I could actually do something to help these guys. In fact, we're doing some stuff with them tonight, Friday, Saturday. I've got a whole bunch of stuff coming up that I'll be working with the vets. And so one of the organizations that I've always supported is a group called the Patriot Project. And what they do is they provide chiropractic care to veterans returning from war.
Yeah.
And actually they're working on doing chiropractic care on the front line right now, which is really cool. They've got almost 6,000 chiropractors around the country that are contributing their services to these vets now. That's how much the organization has grown. Well, Ted Nugent is only on 2 boards. He's on the board for the NRA, obviously, and he's on the board for the Patriot Project. And so Timothy Novelli, who is the founder of the Patriot Project, had bought a custom gun from me in the past at another veterans event and called me up and said, hey, Pat, I'd like to give this gun to Ted in appreciation at our annual gala. And can you tell me a little bit more about the gun so I can, write it all down for him? And I said, no. I said, no. I said, Tim, we have got to build a custom Ted gun.
Right.
I said, no. And plus, all he was doing is giving it out of his own pocket. So I wanted to be able to do something. He said, Pat, if you want to do that, he said, you can come present it yourself. And I was like, oh, cool. So we put together a custom Sega 12 gun. And of course, we had,
What kind of gun was it?
it's a Sega 12.
Okay.
All right, Sega 12. And I have a sample.
And I know the capacity. I do know this capacity of ammo was like catastrophic.
It's 12 rounds.
It wasn't like my BB.
No.
Yeah.
But we did this deal to help the organization, but also obviously to get a little publicity out of it. So I did this gun. We painted it in the flag, this red, white, and blue flag, and then in the white stripes we inscribed the Second Amendment. And so it's perfect for Ted Nugent.
Who he's a huge advocate of.
Oh,
yeah,
huge! He's America's greatest voice
That's
for the
the
Second
second,
Amendment. And so I went to the event. It was up in Canton, Ohio. And when Ted came into the gala, I had it sitting up on a tripod right up there by the stage. And he walked in and he just stood there with his mouth open, just looking at it. And he just couldn't get over it. His wife was over there looking at it too, and she goes, "What is that?" And I said, "It's for your husband." And she goes, "Does he know that yet?" And I said, "No." So she said, well, let me tell him. So she grabs him, brings him over there, and I described the gun to him. He is just loving it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
just
yeah,
loving it. But then he did something remarkable, and this just tells you the type of guy that Ted Nugent is. So the gun was basically just offsetting a cost, right? What Ted did, he said, look, would it hurt your feelings, Pat, if instead of me taking this gun home, that we, let's say, just do a live auction, and I'll sign it. We had 7 Living Medal of Honor recipients there. And let's have all these guys sign it, let's put it up for auction, and then let's donate the money back to the foundation. And then he said, when I get back to Texas, he hunts up in the Michigan area for the last 3 months of every year. And then when I get back to Texas, I'll have you build me something else. I'm like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So what a great gesture. And so what ended up happening was one of the Medal of Honor recipients, they all got up there and they signed it. Ted signed it too. And then one of the Medal of Honor recipients, Mike Thornton, got up there, just impromptu auction. I mean, this was not an auction
Right,
house,
exactly,
just an auction. And he ended up getting that thing for $10,000, which the money went directly into the foundation. So, I mean, what a great feeling it was for me to have that happen. What a great guy Ted was to do that. I mean, he's got every toy on the planet, you know. So,
Absolutely.
and now that he's back in
Yeah,
Texas.
this was one of a kind.
This was one of a kind. This
I
was
mean,
a
before they all
Yeah.
signed it, you know,
It
was
it
one of a
was.
kind, yeah.
It was. So
And-
anyway, it was a great deal, and just what a great guy. I ended up having dinner with him that night, and just we had some great conversation. We're both on the same page when it comes to Second Amendment and you know
Right.
gun rights and that. So
Don't you guys have some stuff coming up? Do you have some plans with him in the future?
we do. Hopefully, either at the end of May or the first part of June, we're going to get together and work on. You know, he's got an ammunition company now that he's partnered with. And it's basically Ted Nugent Ammunition. What we're trying to do is get in and do the same thing with Bad Boy Gunz and getting some endorsements from Ted. He's called me a couple of times, and I'll tell you what, it's when your phone rings, it says, "Hey, Pat, Ted." It's pretty interesting to
Oh, yeah.
have him call you, because I've been a fan since I was a kid in Cat Scratch Fever. So, I mean, you know, he's just an amazing guy.
It's
So-
like when Mike Nance calls me, you know, I'm starstruck.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so that's that story. It was a pretty cool event, and we've built some guns for some other celebs and also for some pro athletes and things like that. I did a really cool custom gun for Michael Thomas. He was a wide receiver for the Houston Texans. So it's a lot of fun getting to do this type of stuff.
So, I mean, what is the price range? I mean, what do these things vary?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I'm sure, I mean, it's infinite as far as what you can spend on
Oh
products.
yeah, actually, the price range could go anywhere from $500 to. I actually brought one with me that was $7,500. So
That's
but-
one you're giving me?
That's the one I'm giving. No.
the first gun.
Right? No, it's actually, I had a customer of mine who came to me and asked me, he says, well, what's the most expensive custom shotgun you've ever built? And I said, right around, $7,000 or so. He says, oh, we're going to blow that away. He
Right.
just wanted to have the most expensive one. We ended up spending right around 13 grand on it. Now, a big part of that was the night vision scope that he put on there. That was like 8 grand on it just by itself. But the gun is, both the actual gun that I brought with me it's one of a kind. It is 100% custom from start to finish.
Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I know you don't take anything for granted that I know anything about this gun,
You
okay?
got it. This is the Sega 12 shotgun. Now, trust me when I tell you it doesn't look like this when we started. But this has been converted into probably one of the baddest machines on the planet. This has a 3,000 lumen flashlight, which is custom built, double-headed. This is built by a local law enforcement officer. On the other side, if you look up on the ceiling, it actually shows your blast pattern. When you shoot the shotgun,
Oh my
it
God.
actually shows it. The further away it gets,
Yeah, put it up against that screen. Someone will show. Look at that. Man,
how about that?
that's unbelievable.
So,
And then that is the pattern that the gun will
there you go.
actually
Yeah,
shoot?
it is. That is
Okay.
the pattern that the gun will actually shoot. So what that does is it takes all the guesswork out of where your pellets are going. Because we're shooting a
Right.
shotgun, that's a 9 pellet spread.
Right.
So and your pellets actually expand at the rate of 1 inch in diameter for every 3 feet of travel. So a lot of people think, like in a home defense situation, they don't have to aim a shotgun. They just point it in the room and it hits everything. That's not the way it works.
Right.
You really actually do have to aim it. So we did that. We did everything inside of the gun is 100% custom, including polishing out the bolt and the carrier. But the best part about this particular gun, so I got a 12-round magazine in here, is that we have the bump ski stock on here. Now what this is this actually makes the gun do a sliding deal. So when you're firing this gun, the recoil actually comes back and hits your,
Minimizes.
no, it hits your finger and it turns it into a full auto weapon.
Oh,
So you can empty that 12-round magazine in about 2.5 seconds. 12 rounds in 2.5 seconds of shotgun ammo.
yeah, I could hit somebody.
Yeah,
you know.
you could
I
probably
wouldn't have
definitely,
been, I mean, I'm not that good of a shot, obviously, but
So
I
you
could
could-
use that.
you could definitely do some damage. I will tell you that in firing this gun, that's probably the most fun I've ever had shooting a gun. But I will say this, it's a beating.
Is it really?
A
Is it?
beating after about 4
I
magazines.
can imagine. So my theory on that sliding, it doesn't help recoil or anything
No,
like that?
no, it's
Yeah.
not helping with recoil. It's just making the gun, because the recoil itself, what it does is it comes back and hits your finger right here. So every time it slides forward and back, it's actually hitting your finger, which is pulling the trigger. So the gun, the recoil actually does all the work for you, and it's perfectly legal with the ATF. So it actually comes with a certificate saying that this is okay with the ATF. So all in all, we had $7,500 into this gun. Chaos rail system, suppressed muzzle brake, chaos sights. I mean,
So
this is-
real money, which you had $7,500, you got 7,500 in the gun.
No, I sold the gun for 75.
Okay,
Yeah, I sold the gun for
yeah.
75. So, but this actually took almost a year because the gentleman that I did it for was very particular, and we changed things about 20 times over. So, but yeah, that's the top end. That's the high end of the spectrum as far as what these would cost.
So you have to do a ton of testing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you don't just build it and assume it's gonna work.
Oh, no.
You just.
No, that'd be the worst mistake you could make.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, everything, and that's, one of the fun parts about my job is that I get to go test all these. So,
Yeah, you don't, you took the right approach. You did what you love.
Oh, yeah.
So that's,
Oh, yeah.
and you can tell, you light up when you talk about it. Now, that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
impressed.
No, I love what I do, man. I mean, this is fun for me. I started tinkering with it back in 1997, and then, as I was building more guns for friends or just, for the heck of it, people really started to take notice of it, that it was something different, and it was beyond what everybody else was doing. And then I figured, well, heck, maybe I can make a living out of it. And, there I did, got a company, sold it, off to do another one. So,
I didn't want to tell anybody drove a Bentley up here, so. Must be money in guns. So, well, I know it varies because this guy obviously knew what he wanted. What'd you say, 3,000 lumens? So, I mean, that
yeah.
basically would light up.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
It'll blind you, big time.
I mean, we can deer hunt with that, can't we?
No. No, I don't think they would like that too much.
Want ground beef?
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be a tough deal.
Now, I do have some exposure with guns, but,
Right.
Because we have several thousand acres and everybody's gun fanatics, so I see them.
Except you.
Yeah, except me, but you were talking about the pattern, things like that, so right before turkey season, they want to make, you know what they're doing, they drive that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Pattern's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Or perfect to them,
Oh, yeah.
whatever that may be.
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity too. If you're familiar with the show Heli Hunters, they're the guys that actually started the helicopter hog hunting business, and they're down there in Ennis, Texas. But those guys, we actually built quite a few guns for them that they use on their TV show. They're on the Sportsman's Channel. So, I got a good reputation out there for building good quality weapons, and hopefully that reputation will follow me into the new adventure of Bad Boy Guns. So,
Well, we're gonna do our best to absolutely support you in that. We
appreciate
we got what we call Capital Machine Dealers, and they absolutely are relentless. So we're gonna do all we can do to support you in
Awesome.
that. There's several more back here, and I want to see every one.
okay.
Because even though I don't own one, they interest me
All
for
right,
some
cool.
reason.
Well, this would be, like I said, I got my start really in the shotgun business. So this is known as the SRM 1216. This is a semi-automatic shotgun, just like the other one was. It holds 16 rounds inside of this tube. So this tube has 4 tubes, actually. And after you empty, there's 4 rounds held in each tube. After you fire 4, you rotate it.
Oh my God.
Then you do it again, you do it again, you do it again. And then when you're empty, you actually just push the button up here, and you can release the whole magazine out, pop another one in.
So this,
That comes right out.
Yeah.
Yep, so you can just empty that out.
so that gives you basically, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So it comes out, rock and roll, go do it again. So anyway, it's an awful lot.
And how much time do you have in something like this?
This one actually, I did do a whole lot of modifications to. I had to thread the muzzle. This particular customer wanted a muzzle brake added. That's a custom muzzle brake, and I had to thread this particular barrel. So the barrel threading actually took about 2 hours. The mounting of the front hardware, some of the back hardware. This is a new rubber buttstock that I custom fabricated for it. So this one I probably got 3.5, maybe 4 hours in, something like that. So, and it
It just
sells.
depends on how extensive
Yeah.
they want to go with it.
Right, and it sells for, this one I think sold for about 2,600, somewhere in that range. So, but again, that's part of the beauty of what we do at Bad Boy Guns is that I love doing stuff for customers that are going to just be a one-off kind. I love to kind of give them some ideas, and I'll start doing the gun shows again here. But that's how I kind of got my start, was at the gun shows. Is I actually started with one gun that I took to a gun show, and had one table, and people fell in love with it. And then by the time I left my last company, we were doing all the gun shows. We had 12 tables, 85 guns, 4 employees working it. It really grew tremendously. But we bring guns that, to kind of just stir the imagination a little bit. People didn't know they needed it until they saw it.
Right.
And so,
Yeah.
that's part of what the fun is.
And they may
So-
not even need it, they may just want it, but.
Right.
Do you know, do they use them?
Oh, yeah.
Or is it just kind of a
No, it's
novelty
both.
piece or
It's
something?
both.
Yeah.
No, it's both. We actually have, I've done a couple of guns that actually have like 6 bayonets on it, which is just, it's over the top crazy. But people, they like them. I have several of my customers that have told me that they put the guns up on the mantle because it looks like a piece of art, but it's loaded and ready to rock. They still use it as a home defense weapon. And home defense is probably the #1 reason people buy
Yeah,
the weapons.
yeah. No,
Especially when they're compact like this. You want to have something real short in the house. And a shotgun is the #1 home defense weapon on the planet. It just doesn't get any better than a shotgun. So you got a much better chance of hitting something.
Yeah, especially 3,000 lumens. I mean, when we line them up like that.
Oh,
you know,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You cut the lights on without cutting the lights on.
And it's not just shotguns that I do. We also do, ARs and AKs. AKs are one of my specialties. I love doing AK-47s. This is an AR-15 that's been custom from the ground up with from the receiver to the adjustable stock, to the scopes, to the offset sights, to the stainless steel, which knows a wild barrel. That's the best barrel on the market, and probably one of the best muzzle brakes on the market as well. So this is a seriously bad boy. I liked this one so much I ended up keeping it for myself.
So, and what caliber?
This is a 5.56 or a 223. This is an AR round.
Oh,
This is the most common round in America right now. This is the most common rifle in America right now, is the AR-15. This is the one that when the Dems and the libtards are trying to ban something, this is what they would call an
Yes,
assault
yes,
weapon,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Yeah. What makes it an assault weapon to them is it's got a magazine and it's got a grip down here. So that's, to them, that becomes assault weapon. So this is,
Even though it's semi-automatic. I mean, you
it's
can't
semi-automatic. No, you
right.
can't.
Yeah.
No. Now, you can do that, and in Texas, it's pretty easy to get. You can actually, pay for an SOT tax stamp, basically, and you can go full auto, and you get a suppressor and things like that. It's like $200. So it's pretty easy to do.
This is one of the Texas is a leader in the Second Amendment, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, isn't there something pretty prevalent in January that's coming up to where?
Yeah, there's more stuff coming up in January that actually is going to make it easier
Right.
to own full auto or suppressors. So, what's funny though is I found out is the NRA publishes every year a list of the most gun-friendly states in America. And I always thought Texas has got to be like #1 or #2.
Right.
Texas is number 15.
Really?
Believe it or not.
Well, who's #1?
Wyoming.
Really?
Wyoming is #1 as far as the most gun-friendly
Well,
state.
they had to give them guns because I tell you what, I drove through Wyoming and my cell phone didn't work through the whole state. And anybody that knows me knows that is catastrophic. You know?
Can't live without it.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Now
nice.
this one is almost identical to the one that I built for Ted Nugent. So this one is actually my personal weapon. It is identical except for the fact that I did this in a flag pattern. His was in an entire flag pattern, just one flag, and that's how we were able to do the stripes. This has obviously got multiple little stripes, and I wanted it to look distressed. We used a crackle paint over the top of it, and then we came over with an automotive clear coat as well. And then this one is semi-automatic as well. Got a 12-round magazine. And this one is that, believe it or not, that very first gun I showed you, this is the same gun.
Really?
It started as exactly the same gun. You would not know that. And this is now in a bullpup design, so that it's nice and compact. Keep it in the house as home defense weapon. This is my upstairs home defense weapon.
Upstairs.
Upstairs, yeah. And this one, we have a 1,000 lumen light on one side, and we have a 1,000 lumen strobe light on the other side. But feel how comfortable that is. It's heavy in the back, but when you put it up on your shoulder, all the weight just disappears.
Man, everybody knows I am playing.
This hand right here.
I am playing wounded. Okay, this left arm.
There you go.
And so how do you turn on your?
Yeah, you just use your other
Yes,
hand up
you
here.
not have to. Yeah,
Yeah, you put your other hand up here, and then you're able to do that.
Don't mess with the machine, man. Yeah, look, I would be dangerous with one of these.
Right? Right? Yeah.
I'm gonna threaten myself with a moped. You know, that.
Yeah, it's a bad boy.
That's sweet.
Yeah, the scope up in here actually lights up. It's a holographic red dots. You can actually see and co-witness through these sights as well.
Yeah, that's a very fine scope.
Yep.
My father-in-law was he passed away in April. He could have filled this up with guns.
Oh yeah.
You know, and he has he had some that, I guess he paid once upon a time $20,000-$30,000 for, and I don't know what they were worth when he passed.
Right.
He had them allocated to all the children and grandchildren.
Right.
So he didn't have to use any on me because I didn't need it. You know what I mean? But I've had a lot of exposure with guns, so
Right.
this is I know when to be impressed. This
Yeah.
is unbelievable. It's man.
Thank you.
So this is your upstairs.
This is my
This is,
upstairs.
this is, oh, that's very nice.
Yeah, downstairs I've got a Kel-Tec KSG shotgun. It actually holds 25 rounds. 25 shotgun rounds.
And how many did you say that held?
This one holds 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is a bad boy.
And is there, so, but that, and then that's a legal gun?
Oh yeah, 100%
Yeah,
legal.
everything we're looking at's all,
100% legal.
100% legal.
Anybody can own it.
so you.
As long as you're not a felon,
Right?
you can definitely own these. So.
Dang, man. I almost had a chance. I was about to give me one. You know what I mean?
All right. So that's what's going on at Bad Boy Guns. We're just getting ramped up and doing it again.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about okay, so Socom Alliance is, and I don't want to act like I know it all, but I know Socom is an acronym,
Yep.
and I can pretty much figure out what Alliance means. And so this is about 30 or 35 of you guys that I'm in a niche market, so you know it's not everybody needs an installation machine. You know what I mean? Everybody probably needs a gun. They probably don't need a gun of that magnitude. No, you're going to do your best to make sure everybody needs a gun.
That's right. That's right.
But there, you were telling me before we kicked off on Facebook Live that all the people that you've partnered with, the different things that they do. So tell them more about Socom.
Yeah, sure. Socom Alliance is another company that I formed back in January. Kind of started working on it, but I saw in our industry we got a bunch of independent, small businessmen, and it's hard when you're a small guy to get that marketing power to get that word out. And so I pretty much hand selected some quality vendors that I'm familiar with my years in this business, and brought them together. And Socom stands for Southern Organized Co-op Merchants. It's an alliance, it's a group, it's a co-op of specialists that serve the same customer.
Right.
So for example, a customer that comes to me for a custom built weapon is also probably going to be looking for a custom knife, or possibly paper targets, or metal targets, or hand carved wood stocks, exploding targets, an indoor gun range, an outdoor gun range, a silencer. So that same customer, we're not competing.
Right.
You said it earlier.
Yeah, you collaborate, don't compete.
Yeah,
That's right.
collaborate, don't compete. So what we do is within this group, we refer each other to each other, and only to those people in that group. Somebody comes to my shop and they say, where would I go shoot this thing? And say, oh, over here at this particular range. You want an indoor range? You want an outdoor range? We're working on our marketing materials right now, a trifold that basically has all of the people in Socom listed. The website is up and running right now. You can check it out at socomalliance.com, and you can at least see what we've got going on there. It's not complete yet, and we're still gathering some more people, but right now we got about 30 or 35 merchants in there. And basically serving, it's kind of like if you walked into a Cabela's without having to have the big building and the overhead. And so it's something that's not been done in our industry before. And when I started approaching people about it, they're all like, well, yeah, it makes perfect sense, because we share all of the same, we share our email databases, we share our customer lists, our customer phone numbers, all that kind of stuff. And when we push out an email, for example, if we do a constant contact email, all of us will be listed on that email.
Right.
So, and it's not like you're getting it because, let's say you bought a gun from me, and you're getting this email that has other people listed on there, you're not going to be mad because it's still within your industry.
Sure,
So
sure,
it's very
sure, yeah.
targeted. It's not like buying an email list from somebody that you hope is going to scattershot and hit something
Well,
out there.
and I do know this about people that they're passionate about guns.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't, so if you're gonna send them something that they need, use, or they don't think anybody else
Oh, yeah.
has, or to that magnitude.
Yeah.
So, and now I'm not to that level on motorcycles, but I have noticed that people that get into motorcycles, that, hey, they
Same
get
thing.
into them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It becomes a very expensive habit for them, and I've seen guns do that to a whole lot
Oh,
of people.
yeah.
So.
Yeah. I have one of my customers.
Good job choosing your profession.
Well, it's something, I don't know if you can tell, but it's something I'm pretty passionate about too.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I'm kind of living the American dream, being able to do what I enjoy doing, and make a living at it at the same time. And then the co-op is kind of a double-edged sword, because it also helps feed my business. So it's there's some selfishness in there too, but it's also, I think, a great way for a lot of these people to really get exposure. Some of these guys that I approached and didn't even have a Facebook business page or a website, so I helped them get those things going.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so everybody's going to benefit from this deal. There's very little cost to the merchant. It's like $100 a month, and that's just for me to run the business. So nobody's complaining about that.
And,
Right
and
now.
on social, they can find you where?
On social media, they can find us on everything. On Socom Alliance, they can find us at Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube is coming. Actually, this will probably be our first YouTube. And then, yeah, we've got pretty much all the social media is covered on that. So,
Good.
and it's all building because these are relatively new businesses. Even though I'm not new to the business, these two new businesses are relatively new. And so we haven't really hit the market hard yet. We're still in the building phase. I'm still in the phase of raising money for the Bad Boy Gunz concept. And so, you know, I'm looking for some partners to help come along side with that as well. So, you know, we're just getting going.
Now, they take traditional ammo, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, it's not like,
No, it's, well, now, here's the other cool thing about it, though, is that in the past, I've also helped develop some muzzle brakes for shotguns. But there's one that's out on the market right now, and we're about to take delivery on it. But I know you're not that much into guns, but anybody else that's ever fired a shotgun knows that the enemy of the shotgun, there's two enemies of the shotgun. One is recoil, your felt recoil, what's hitting your shoulder. And the second thing is your muzzle rise or muzzle jump, when that shotgun likes to jump up. And so we just developed a solid steel muzzle brake. It's called the V6. Looks like a V6 engine block. And in slow motion testing, you can see that that gun, even if you're firing slugs or double-aught buckshot, has zero muzzle jump. Gun does not rise up on you. And the felt recoil coming back at you, I set the top of the exhaust, if you will, at 18 degrees, which is the best degree to set it at. And so in a shotgun, or any gun, when you fire that weapon, the gases arrive at the end of the muzzle before the projectile does. Believe it or not, the gases get there first. And so we were trying to figure out a way to use the gases to our benefit. And so we did. We redirect those gases where it pushes the gun forward and down, so it counteracts the recoil coming back at you, and the muzzle rise to zero.
yeah.
So you can get that second shot off. And like I sell to a lot of, especially here in Texas, to a lot of hog hunters. And if they're shooting, you know, an AR or an AK or 12 gauge at a hog, the first shot's always accurate. The second shot, after they recover and have to come back down and reacquire that herd of hogs that they may be baiting in, they're scattered. So the key is to be able to just stay right on target without having any lift on that gun and take care of the issue. So
that is an issue. I can tell you, you spend millions and millions of dollars on a piece of property and have 2 or 3 hogs come visit, baby, and the millions of dollars are gone. They're not.
I'm telling you.
I mean, we brought people in to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we had a free range herd, so it wasn't a high fence, but it's probably as quality as you could get in the state of Alabama. And once we got the first 275 pound boar in there, I'm gonna tell you what, they just killed the greenfields. You know, and you know how much work goes into all that.
Oh yeah.
And Ted, if you're watching, or if you do watch at some point in time, you know, not only is he an advocate for the Second Amendment, you know, but I mean, he's an advocate for hunting and you know, hunting for sport, hunting for the right reasons, you know, and controlling things. So that's I watch him all the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's very entertaining. You know, super nice
Spirit
guy.
of the Wild.
And obviously, always comes across as being very genuine.
Yes.
And you're telling me that he is. So I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but maybe now that I say, hey, I'm moving on up, so I get to meet people like this, maybe I'll get to meet Ted Nugent one day, you know?
Well, he's close by now. He's actually, you know, his ranch is just outside of Waco.
Yeah,
So,
which one?
Yeah. Well, his other one's up in
all over the world,
his other one's up in Michigan. Like I said, they conduct hunts up there, and they also conduct hunts down here. So, but yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of when you're passionate about something, because I don't think he's heard from money.
Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, he did under me, huh?
And he still plays live too. I saw his Facebook post the other day that I think he's got 6.7 million followers, something like that. I mean, it's incredible.
My God, I got that. How many do I have mine?
A little over 70.
Okay, a little over
70 million.
Yeah,
71. I think it's at less than 100.
Right. Oh no.
Oh man, okay.
But anyway, so yeah, you know, everybody, please check out you know, SocomAlliance.com. Be looking for shotgun blasters. Be looking for BadBoyGuns.com, and it'll be coming soon. Hopefully by the end of the week. By Sunday at the latest, we'll have that up and running. And you can always reach me online at Socom Alliance. Call me anytime. We'll get you fixed up.
Right, here's A-Town right here. But matter of fact, one of her handles on something is Camel Girl. Okay, so you have no idea of the market. You just targeted a market that's very interested in your product, and they're going to give it a whole lot of speed. And we're going to, if somebody wants to have one built, okay? Do they have to schedule consultation with you in person?
Nope.
Do they call you
That's
over
it.
the phone?
We do it over
They
the
tell you
phone.
what to do?
Yep.
Do you have an e-commerce thing? Can we build it? How do we do it?
Yeah, we can do, probably the easiest thing right now is to reach me at pat@socomalliance.com.
Okay,
And,
so which is email address?
right, which is the email address. Or you can reach me at pat@badboyguns, guns with a Z, .com.
Right.
All right, and so, or you can always call me at 214-912-6168. I don't mind, that's my cell phone, call me anytime. We'll get you connected. It's pretty easy to do it over the phone. What I do and I'll spend a good hour with people consulting. It's kind of like buying a car, okay?
So you guys that, and that's neat. I mean, the one of a kind. I'm telling you, if I was into anything, and hey, I may order one. I'm not gonna tell you about it, but I may order one. Everybody, 2 doors down, a police officer lives from me, and he keeps saying, "Get you a gun, Dad." He wants to. He said, "What if somebody breaks and I have 3 young
Yeah.
children?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. They picked the wrong house unless they got it. Unless they get me before I get them." But,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, these things are unbelievable if you can see them in person. So he's
Oklahoma.
giving you multiple ways to get in touch with him. Okay, so and really, to be honest with you, I would have thought these were a lot more expensive than Denver.
Mhm.
But now I don't know what these things cost. But $2,000 to $8,000 for anything I want is not much.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? I paid about $50 for mine.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, one of the things I've always done, and part of the way I built my reputation is by not trying to oversell somebody also.
Right.
I find out what their budget is too, and I'm willing to work within any budget. And if you look at any of the reviews or Google or anything else that's ever been written, believe it or not, it's actually, I know I can't live like this forever, but it's all been positive. And one of the things that people say most is that the time that I spend in the customer service part of it, making sure that they're satisfied with what we're going to build, and then when we're done, making sure that they're comfortable with it when they take it home. And if they ever have any problems with it,
Yeah.
then I handle it immediately. So I have a reputation, and I want to keep that reputation. But from a price standpoint, it really doesn't matter to me. I get a big joy out of actually just doing this, and then watching that customer walk out the door with something that I crafted. And it's a pretty cool feeling. I mean, it really is.
Oh, I can imagine. So the guy that wanted Texas is like that. I mean, I don't know where the guy that wanted the biggest, baddest one around, but I
Right.
can tell you that we sell removal vacuums, okay,
Uh-huh.
and these storms are pretty prevalent here.
Right.
And they don't care how much it costs. You know what I mean? They just
Mhm.
want to know that it's bigger than the competition. So we're building them now, unbelievably big.
Oh, yeah.
A whole lot bigger than we were, the market. So.
Absolutely.
So the one that you built, what's the biggest, I guess, monetary wise?
Yeah.
Was how much?
It was around 15,000, and it was actually that gun, but with the additional scope.
The first one we looked at.
Yeah, the very
Yes.
first one we looked at. Now I have another customer of mine who's been a customer for about 8 years, and I built him probably 15 or 16 custom weapons during that time. He's never fired one of them. His gun room, he lives up up past Sherman in Denison. His gun room is over 5,000 square feet, just his gun room. And so he's one of those guys that every time I come up with something new, he just orders one, or he wants me to come up with something different because his buddy got something too close to it. And so he's always on this one-upmanship.
Yeah.
But his gun room would rival Charlton Heston's gun room when he passed.
Do you ever do any handguns? Anything like that?
I have done a couple of handguns. It's one of those areas where there's a lot of people out there that are better at that than I am.
Okay.
I specialize.
Commendable. That's fantastic.
I try not
Yeah.
to.
Do what you do best.
Yeah, and that's it's kind of like when.
So shotguns and rifles, preference shotgun
Yes.
being first in
Yes.
order of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean that's.
Yeah.
I'd rather be good. I'd rather be the best at something than just good at everything.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Absolutely.
and that's
Absolutely.
that's how I think you build a brand in a business. So.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Right, well, so, listen, guys, check them out. I know virtually 99 out of 100 people are interested in guys. I have to ask this here. This may be a little edgy, a little controversial. We are coming up on an election here, and this is always a topic. So, he's an expert in the field, and I just get curious because so much happens over. This is such a heated topic with everybody, and I guess because I'm not really biased one way or another. You know, I feel like everybody has the right to have a gun. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Unless they've done something to where they're not awarded that right. But I know that everybody, you know, people are all over the. Is it?
It's very polarizing.
I mean, you talk to a million people, you're gonna have literally,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a million different
Yeah.
opinions, and they're gonna vary
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Oh, they are.
So, your opinion, upcoming election, we don't have to err on, parties, race, what side you err on. We know you're for guns, okay, so
Right.
y'all can put the two together.
Pretty easy.
What do you feel like, predict the future for us?
Yeah, well.
I mean, the best you can. You give us a hypothesis.
Yeah, you know, I'm sure you've probably heard this said before, but, you know, Obama was the best gun salesman our industry has ever had. Because every time.
I know he was for ammunition.
In that too, yeah. For every time that there was an act committed with a gun, you know, he was up on stage and you know, threatening more bans and more government action, more executive actions, things like that. And every single time he did that, gun sales shot through the roof. During his first 7 years in office, 1 million more Americans bought guns that didn't own them before. I mean, he's unbelievable as far as our gun salesman goes. Now, coming up on this next election, you know, Hillary has promised to do even more than as far as that she wants to do what Australia has done. Australia has done a complete gun ban. It is illegal for anybody in Australia to own a gun. And if you get caught, you get prison time.
Well, let me ask something. Okay, so this is something that I don't have any hard facts on, and you keep up with that. Has that lowered any crimes any whatsoever?
No.
I wouldn't think it would.
Actually, no. And in parts of Great Britain and Europe, crime's actually gone up. People just find other ways to do it. Hammers, knives. I mean, every time you flip on the news in Europe, somebody's getting stabbed, right? I mean, you hear about a mass stabbing.
Sure.
Okay, they couldn't get a gun. It doesn't stop them from committing the act.
And if they get a gun, they absolutely have to get it illegally to the nth degree.
That's
You know what I
correct.
mean?
Yeah, I
So,
mean, you can't,
that's-
you know, I mean, if banning weapons is going to stop crime, hey, you know what? We should probably ban heroin and cocaine because it'll stop it from happening, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not going to happen. So, even though Hillary would be great for the gun business, right now our country can't stand, I think, another Democratic president, and so, you know, we've got to get Trump in there for sure. It won't be good for gun business because he's pro-gun, but, you know, our country's more important right now.
I will tell you my experience because my two sons, my father-in-law, I was telling you about, he passed out several guns to them. Okay, he made them avid hunters and instilled that in them. That was something their dad wasn't passionate about. So thank God that we had him in their life. And I will tell you that they have little 22. And they be trying to get ammunition for a 22. I mean, it's as quick as you hear it's there.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could only get a limited amount when
Right.
you went. And I don't know what it was I could get. I couldn't tell you, but you know, we would go to Dick's or whatever. I'm not trying to plug or promote anybody. I'm just saying wherever I could go get the ammunition, if we heard it was there, if you didn't get there that day, you're not getting it.
Exactly.
You know, did you experience that?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
I mean, there's especially certain types of ammunition. And again, when the government is out there buying billions and billions of rounds,
Right.
and everybody's going, well, what does the government need all that ammunition for? Then it creates more traffic to buy more ammunition. So every time these, you know, government people, libtards especially, you know, say something like that, they don't realize they're actually feeding the industry. They're actually creating a bigger industry.
No, they
that they're trying to get rid of, supposedly. But 22 ammunition, the reason it's so hard to come by is that there's a lot of people out there that are, you know, prepping for
Yeah.
the apocalypse. And you think, well, why do people want 22s? Well, the reason for that is it's a very small caliber round, which you would use to hunt small game, squirrel, things like that. You know, if you had the grid go down or whatever, you know, they say if the grid goes down, the electric grid goes down, and it's down for a long period of time, we'll lose half the population in 30 days. Well, the rest of the population has to feed on wild game. So that's why the 22 was such a popular
Yeah.
round with preppers more than anything else. You know, because you could use the big rounds for big game, but that's only going to be around for so long. Then you're going to be hunting small game, and you don't want a big 12 gauge to take out a squirrel. So if you plan on eating that, so
and then your chances of getting, you're gonna have a lot more chances of small game than you are
that's
big
it.
game anyway.
That's exactly right. So that's
Yeah.
the reason for that 22. but-
That's the method behind the madness.
Yep.
Well,
So-
man, fantastic. Listen, appreciate you coming in and
Sure.
and just I'm fascinated. You know, I mean, you know, you don't have to always just, you know, it wasn't my passion, but I mean, that's just When somebody does it better than, I love anybody that, I mean, I don't care what it is. I can watch anybody do anybody when they're great at what they do.
Right.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, you bet. Appreciate it, JJ.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
All right, everybody, listen, home of what? Blow hard or go home? Machine Man out? Deuces.